me and Tekken, we have a little bit of a history. I can't beat anybody at any games, but when people go up against me in Tekken, they're like, wow, how are you so naturally good at this? How are you beating me so much? How is this possible? You're like a master at fighting games. But how? You just opened up this game and suddenly you're destroying me? I spent hours learning all these combos and I should be the god of Tekken, so how are you, a puny weak famale? How are you killing me? How are you winning? Well, guess what? I had a secret weapon all along. And you know what my secret weapon is? It's called button mashing. Something really hated amongst the freaking Tekken community, but treasured amongst myself and me alone. I've brought my enemies down to their knees. I've brought my friends down to their knees. I've made them beg for mercy. They thought I was a sophisticated fighter. They thought I was powerful. Little do they know, it was all a lie. So today we ask, how far does my revolutionary Tekken prowess really go? Today we are exploring that, my dear friends. Today we are exploring that. But before we go into ranked and test my button mashing prowess, there are a few things you need to understand about the art of button mashing, because it's not as stupid as you may think, okay? You gotta ask yourself, it was really that stupid? How is she destroying people using this technique? And you know what? I'm gonna tell you. Don't you worry. I'm gonna educate you so that you can be as lazy as you possibly can be and you can still make grown men cry because they can't believe that you defeated them. Little old you. So how does one button mash? How do you get started? I want to freaking, I want to button mash and I want to get something done, but I'm just so confused. I'm wiggling my fingers around and it's not achieving these results. Well, I'll tell you how it's possible right here and now. You gotta go into practice mode and then you gotta do a little combination of pressing 2 buttons on the freaking button pad and 2 buttons on the arrow keypad, right? You just gotta do little flicks and turns and you just gotta mess around a little bit until you accidentally do something cool. And then when you accidentally do something cool, you gotta be like, oh, I think I sort of did something that made this sort of cool thing happen. I think I did this with my fingers. And then you gotta do that thing over and over until you sort of do that cool thing again. And then you gotta memorize that natural finger movement to you that was oh, this sort of cool thing happened when I did this sort of cool finger movement, right? If you didn't follow, I don't blame you, but it's only because you need to be on 150 IQ level to get it, okay? So I understand if you're not following. It's fine. You can't all be great like me, and I get it. But the main point is you intuitively figure out what buttons work. Eventually, if you take enough characters into practice mode, you're gonna find some overlap between them. But you would probably be smarter if you picked a character first. And I have my own personal reasons for picking the character that I did. First of all, Nina, really pretty, wonderful, customizable to also be super cute. But in addition to that, childhood sentimentality, because I used to like that she used to wear high heels in Tekken 3 or 4 or something when I used to play her as a kid, and I liked that I was kind of impaling people with my high heel kicks. I like that kind of aggression and that power, and that childhood memory stuck with me. So the emotional connection that I had with Nina allowed me to truly use my fingers to support her in crushing our enemies. So that's what it takes. So make sure you have an emotional connection with your character or this ain't gonna freaking work. So I found a few things that worked as Nina. With my nonsensical button pushing and my little whimsy doodle freaking finger movement, I found some grabs and I learned how she can use heat, I think it's called. And so I felt prepared. I was like, I can just grab him and I can just use heat. So I went in there and I found I was consistently winning. And you know how it was happening? Most people, they have never seen such ridiculous sporadic behavior in their lives. They are used to calculated, strong, sophisticated gamers coming into ranked and being ready to be honorable and show their skill. Well, we don't play that way. We play freaking dirty. You know what we freaking do? They never need to know our next move. Are we gonna do this next? Are we gonna do that next? They just don't freaking know what's gonna come next, okay? And you gotta use this at your disposal. They're like, oh, they're obviously gonna go for a lower kick over here or an upper kick or a mid or a low, yada yada. Their brains think that there's some sense to this, but there is not. We're never gonna go for a combo because we don't know what the hell those are. The only thing we're ever gonna go for is a bunch of sporadic jabs, a bunch of random blocks, but most of all, what you're gonna do is whenever they don't expect it, you're gonna grab them. You're gonna grab them over and over and over again. And then then you're gonna use your heat move right away. As soon as you go into the game, you're gonna use your heat move. You're gonna catch him off guard. And guess what? The heat move for Nina really easy. I just had to like spam 4 buttons over and over and over, and she'd do this huge freaking chain. It's like a combo without any of the effort of a combo. You think you need your combos? Nah, you don't need your freaking combos. Look how much I'm winning. I was winning over and over and over again right here. And I must admit, my technique was not perfect. This is what this experiment is for. If my technique was perfect, I indeed would be the very top best Tekken player known to man. But alas, there was a limit to my technique. The downfalls were sometimes I fell victim to panic grabbing, where I thought, okay, we gotta grab, that'll save us, we're in a tough spot. If we grab, we'll be saved, we'll be saved, we'll be saved. But instead what happens is if you're not close enough to grab and you grab at the wrong time, you're just kind of stuck there sort of vibrating. And vibrating isn't good, okay? You can't let your enemies see you phased. You can't let them see you panic. The sporadic maneuver gets jeopardized that way, and we can't have that. So as I started climbing higher than higher, I realized my cheap old tricks, my limited knowledge, they paled in the face of combos and in grab bricks. People knew how to stop me short. They knew my weaknesses, my Achilles heel, and they got to me. And alas, my short reign as a Tekken champion came to a close, and it was over for me. It was over forever. The rank of fighter was all I'd ever get to see for now.